Today I've got the Land Rover back in the shop. I'm going to be finishing the last step in my transfer case swap, and that's reinstalling the front drive shaft. However, before I can reinstall it, I've got to rebuild it. Welcome to Repower Garage. When I started doing this years ago, it was primitive. It was on the floor of my garage. And using a clamp and some sockets or a hammer. And then I graduated to one day buying a vise, and that really helped. And then ultimately one day I bought a ball joint press, and some people have hydraulic presses in their shop that help, but you can do this with very basic tools. You can do it on the trail. You don't need all this fancy stuff, but today I'm going to be using a few tools I have in the shop that you can rent if you don't have, and you don't have a reason to buy them. You can rent from most auto parts stores, turn it in when you're done, and it makes life a lot easier. So we'll talk about that. When I first repowered the Land Rover, I was in a hurry for Cummins Cruise. I saw the front drive shaft was bad. 2 U-joints and the cardan joint were both bad, but I didn't have time to fix it before the cruise. So I took off in rear wheel drive and just put out an APB on Instagram for a front drive shaft. My buddy Don Scott, who could not join me on the cruise, helped out from home, and he found me a drive shaft along the way that I picked up actually at the biodiesel oasis out in Oakland when we stopped for fuel. So I had it just in time for our beach portion where we drove on the beach, which was great. But I still have that drive shaft, and I pulled it apart just to show the different parts of what a cardan or double cardan drive shaft looks like, and what we'll be tackling on the drive shaft I've been running around. So on one end, you've got your standard U-joint and flange that goes to the front axle yoke. Nothing special about that, just a U-joint. Then you have your telescoping drive shaft. That is greasable. We'll get to that on the reinstallation, even though there's not a Zerk fitting on it from the factory. And then on the other end of that, you have another just traditional U-joint. And then it goes into the cardan or the double cardan or CB, whatever your four-wheel drive circle wants to call it, joint. There is a ball in the middle of that. That ball is not greasable, at least on this drive shaft. I don't know if they make them that are. Let me know if they do, because I would be very interested. The ball is pressed into that center casting. That center casting holds 2 U-joints, and then it goes to the flange on the other side. So in most production vehicles, your powertrain is not actually set in the vehicle completely parallel to the ground. There's a power angle where it's actually angled down, so the rear output housing of either the transfer case or the transmission is aimed at the pinion of the rear axle. And it's trying to get those 2 planes to be parallel to each other as much as possible so that you don't have a bind with those U-joints. Now, if you do that in a 4-wheel drive application, the front output on the transfer case is now going to be aiming, let's say, 5 degrees up, while the yoke on the front axle is still parallel to the ground for the most part. So you've somehow got to correct for a drive shaft that would otherwise be going up to get it to be able to go down without putting U-joints in a bind. And that's where that cardan joint comes in. So I sprayed these caps the other day with some PB Blaster just to loosen them up because I knew I wasn't going to get back to this for a couple days. And now I'll just be taking off the spring retainer clips and taking the U-joints out as normal. So safety first. One thing you'll see in a lot of my videos is I wear safety glasses. They're not prescription glasses. I'm very blessed in that. I still got good vision. I want to keep that vision. And when you're doing stuff like this, under a vehicle where stuff could fall in your eyes or the fabricating, or something as simple as U-joints, there is a lot of risk you should avoid. With U-joints, you've got lots of things under pressure. So you've got spring clips that can fly off, hit you in the face. When you're using a press of any sort, I've had bearing caps explode before. If you don't notice it, it's getting in a bind and you're putting a ton of pressure on it. When it pops, you can have a piece of a bearing cap fly off. So all sorts of stuff like that. Just avoid getting hurt. Keep it safe. If you're just doing U-joints, rear drive shaft, or that front one, and you're not getting into the cardan joint, one super handy tool to check out from the auto parts store is just a basic ball joint press. It'll come in handy even if you have a vise. I like to put the drive shaft itself in the vise and then use the ball joint press on the caps. The other one, if you're getting into a cardan joint and you're going to replace that ball, Super handy if you don't own one. Again, you can rent it, but a slide hammer with this cool adapter that will actually go into the ball, spread out, grab it, and then a few pulls on the slide hammer and that thing pops right out. One quick tip as you're going around this and you're getting ready to take those spring retainers off, if you just grab a socket and a drive that'll fit down into that machined hole, you can just give each one of them kind of a hit with a hammer, break loose any rust, and then work your way around. Little things like this will help speed it up and keep you from breaking one of those. If you've never seen the inside of a U-joint, there are needle bearings inside the cap. A needle bearing is exactly what it sounds like. It's a tiny cylinder lined up to a bunch of other tiny cylinders, and they roll around the actual U-joint. Those are the parts that can fail if you don't keep them greased. Friction builds up. You'll see signs of a bad U-joint or a dry U-joint. You'll see kind of a rust powder coming out from around the caps. Same with this cardan joint in the middle. There are needle bearings in it, so check these out. Make sure when you're putting them back together that they've not fallen. They're usually packed in with factory grease. Not a bad idea to put a little more grease in there, and be super careful as you're setting the caps back in the U-joints that you don't drop a needle bearing and crush it. Flipping this around to tackle the other side, good example of why this one was failed. Chalked up in the vise, you can really see how much one of the U-joints, the middle U-joint, had failed. Another trick, if you're doing this, and you can crank a lot of energy into this and it doesn't move, is give it a little tap while you're doing it. So once the cap starts to bind, if you give it just a little tap anywhere on that casting or on the clamp itself, it'll usually free it up. Ta-da! So if you're using the ball joint press method or even a vise and sockets, whatever, you want to make sure that you don't have your cap, once it starts to come through the casting on the yoke, that the cap is getting hung up or stuck on whatever your receiving end of your pressing apparatus might be, because that could be bad. So watch out for that. Take your time. I think we found the problem. I was talking about needle bearings, and there's not a trace of a needle bearing in that cap. So even though I could probably get away with just replacing that one U-joint, it's good practice if you're already this far into it. Do all three, do the cardan joint. We'll keep moving. So I've got the three U-joints out. The only thing I have left now to take apart before I start cleaning and rebuilding is that cardan joint. So that's that roller ball with the needle bearings on the inside, and I'm going to use my slide hammer to take care of that. First step in this is you've got to take a seal out of one side of the ball that holds those needle bearings in, and then you're going to be able to roll that ball 180 degrees and get your puller tool to bite onto this cast lip that is machined into the ball itself. One side is smooth, the other side has this tapered lip, and so we've got to roll it over so this tool can bite onto that. So from here, it's take these pieces, clean them. There's a dust seal that goes over that ball joint. So I'll get that off, I'll clean it up, and then it is reverse the order to put this thing back together. We'll start with this U-joint that is in the casting on the drive shaft itself. We're going to carefully take off 3 of the 4 caps of our first U-joint, make sure none of the needles fell down. There's plenty of grease in there. Set them aside. You're going to leave that 1 cap on. That's the cap you're going to kind of hold and control that U-joint from as you feed it through the casting on the cardan joint. You want to make sure that those T's that don't have the caps on them aren't, picking up debris. That's why it's very important to clean this. Or else when you go to put it back together, you're going to trap debris in there and shorten the lifespan of this, and you'll be doing it again before you want to. As you're getting ready to reinstall this, there is a cardboard sleeve in here that is holding the needle bearings together or keeping them from falling out. There's also a new spring in there. So as you're assembling this, just be mindful not to let those needle bearings drop, just like you would in your U-joint caps. It's the next evening here at Repower Garage. I didn't realize that my phone died when I was working on this last night. So you didn't miss much. Basic reassembly of the drive shaft, although there was a little bit of excitement. I got all the way done and one of the caps wouldn't sit right. I didn't realize that it was hanging up as much as it would, and I got impatient and I pressed a little harder, and then I realized I'd cracked one of the caps because clearly a needle had fallen. After everything I said, a needle had fallen down, and it was one of the U-joints that I did not repack with fresh grease, and yeah, I paid for it. So I had to pick up a new U-joint today at lunch and get the thing reassembled. Something that happened with the ball joints for this thing when I did the ball joints a couple years ago, I think there's so many just kind of parts that sit on the shelf for so long for a vehicle like this. It's kind of an obscure vehicle that my experience has been with those ball joints, with the U-joints I got here, the grease from the factory for the new parts has almost like hardened or turned into almost a wax. The ball joints took forever, to work in. I ended up kind of redoing that, injecting fresh grease in it, really working it around by hand. These were no different, and the one U-joint I didn't repack with fresh grease when I had the caps off. That grease was just kind of waxy, and a needle clearly fell out. So I guess I should watch a better YouTube video than Repower Garage and follow that person's advice. Moral of the story is don't rush, even if you're trying to get home for dinner. I hope this helped you if you're considering rebuilding a drive shaft or replacing U-joints. It's not that hard. You can do it with a little patience. If it's your primary driver and you've never done anything like this before, you might get a buddy to help that's done it, so you're not stranded. But it's not that difficult of a job. You just have to be patient. Make sure you're cleaning parts as you go. They go back together a lot better. You know, if you cleaned it, made sure that the surfaces are smooth and not nicked. Make sure that you are greasing pieces as you're putting them back together, and just pay attention to those needle bearings. So anyway, thanks for watching Repower Garage. See you next time.